Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the channel Shelly's Millions, where every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. we talk about your money, budget, finance. A lot of times we talk about how those topics are playing out in California. We talk about inflation. So let me know in the comments if you have anything specific that you want to talk about today. I know one of the things we've been talking about a lot is the rising cost of insurance, both car insurance and homeowners insurance. And I finally got my updated homeowners policy. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work because I thought my old company was dropping me, but they're not. My old homeowners insurance policy, the people that wrote the policy, like the company that I bought the policy through, they're still going to be like my representative, but they're getting the insurance policy from someone else. But they have at least found someone else that will insure me. My insurance is going up about 3 times its current rate. So for a year on my homeowner's insurance, I was paying about $600, and now it's going up to over $1,800 a year. So that's it's still only about $100 extra a month. So luckily I am able to move things around in my budget to make that work. You guys know one of the things that I've done to move my budget around is I switched to Mint Mobile. I still really like them. So far, no issues with them. So that's where we're at with that. All right. We also sometimes talk about movies every Sunday because that's what I do for my regular job is I manage a movie theater. So and we bring out the little green guy when we do that. So this week, what did we open this week? Oh, Civil War. And Civil War is the number one movie at my theater. I think that's going to be the number one movie at most theaters this week. I haven't looked at the reviews yet for it. So I'm going to bop over. If you guys have anything finance, money, budget that you want to talk about, if you guys want to talk about minimum wage going up, if you guys, whatever you're struggling with, if I don't know the answer, we can search it together. And again, this is just my opinions. But yeah, let me know if there's anything specific that you guys want to talk about. I do want to look into the justice for renters a thing that Kenneth was telling me about last week. So maybe we'll do that today. Good morning, Sean. Happy Sunday. Oh, your birthday is on Friday. Happy early birthday. That is super cool. Are you doing anything for your birthday? My friend wants to come over, and like we don't get like sports channels, and so we definitely don't get them, like they don't come in well, like even if we try and watch it live on YouTube. But I think we're going to listen to the broadcast of the Dodgers game later today and grab pizza. So I think that's what I'm doing later today. Anyway, happy birthday. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. We're still going to talk about movies for a little tiny bit. It's going to pull up my YouTube videos. I made a short. Guys, I'm showing that a Big Mac meal would still only be $6.50 if you use the app. So that's what my short was about. It's made a whopping 13 cents. We're going to Rotten Tomatoes first. So that I want to look at the reviews on Civil War. So we're going to do that. Eating dinner at your favorite restaurant in Boston Market. That is super cool. All right. Okay. Okay, Civil War. When you pop on, so we're on Rotten Tomatoes. We're looking at the movie ratings. The one that you see on the opening page is going to be, that's the critic rating. That's not the rating that I like to know what the audience thinks. Hold on, I went back because where's the audience rating? Okay, the audience rating is a 77. That's still pretty high. I'm going to say anything over like a 70 is a pretty good rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So people like the movie. So I think what's happening is like a lot of people are saying that like it feels like it could be too true. So that's what I've heard from the people that don't like it. We're also playing Monkey Man at my theater. That one looks really good. That's Dev Patel. I really like him. What else are we playing? The Beast is doing well just in general for my place of business. Okay. So, what's the other thing that I wanted to look up? Okay, now we're switching back to money. So, Justice for Renters Act. I think Kenneth was saying that this was going to be on the ballot. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. It's a little early. Um, I have heard of Boston Market. Look, there's nothing wrong with Boston Market, even for birthday dinner. So yeah, definitely. I like Boston Market. Okay, so the Justice for Renters Act. Oh, what? Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. All right, let's see here. So I'm just on their website. This is okay. It's going to be something that's going to be on the ballot in 2024. Renters and advocates deliver over 730,000 letters to California Governor Gavin Newsom asking him to support the Justice for Renters Act. You can volunteer with them. California rent control measure qualifies early for November 2024 ballot with strong coalition. Well, where is the wording on what this is? Let's look at the About Us. Is that where I'm at? Okay, this is according to them though. Okay, what is the Justice for Renters Act? The Justice for Renters Act states the state may not limit the right of any city, county, or city and county to maintain, enact, or expand residential rent control. What will the Justice for Renters Act do? It removes the California ban on rent control. It allows cities and counties to expand rent control. It allows local communities to stop predatory corporate landlords from charging unfair and unaffordable rents. I think I've looked into this before. Who supports the Justice for Renters Act? Pro renter, social justice, veterans, senior groups, and labor unions support the Justice for Renters Act. But where is the actual like wording on this? So what this looks like it's saying is like instead of making it up to the state, it would allow cities and counties to be in charge of expanding rent control. But I need to still learn more about this. This is their actual website, but I don't really see. I want to know how this is worded. I wouldn't like just by going to their page, I wouldn't feel comfortable voting one way or another on this. Let's see what this is. This is the media advisory. Okay. A broad and growing coalition of California renters, housing advocates, elected officials, and social justice organizations. And if they're going to hold a Zoom, okay. But where is so Kenneth was asking me if I thought that this was overall like a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, let me see if there's any other things that you guys want to talk about. Okay, Alex. Alex says you're in an odd situation. You have a roommate that you hate, and the sight of him disgusts me. I want to kick him out, but he does pay half the rent. What to do? I really don't like him at all. Oh, that is a tough situation. And I have definitely been in that situation myself. Is the apartment in your name? It sounds like it is. Does this person, would they easily be able, and not that this is your responsibility, but would they be able to somewhat easily find another place and afford another place? I do really recommend house hacking or renting out a room. But I don't rent my inside space anymore, and that's why, like, the garage, like, I rent it out to my friends so that they can use it from work from home, but they're not in my space, and even though you guys know I love my mom very, very much, we're kind of delaying her moving in with me because my house is small, so it's really tough, when you live in a small space. I will tell you, when I've had roommates that I didn't like before, I I would go to the gym a lot more, or I would go for walks a lot more. Like, I would find reasons to leave the house, but that's not good behavior. This is not my it's not my area of expertise because, like, what I think professionals would say is that you're supposed to, like, talk to the person directly, like, let them know what exactly they're doing to, to bother you and give them the opportunity to fix it. Okay, your apartment's in your name, you'll just wait until your good friend needs to move, she's awesome, but I don't know how to nicely tell the guy to leave. I would just, okay, this is my opinion, right? And these are hard conversations, and then as a manager, we often have to have hard conversations like this. I would just if you have a friend who needs to move, I would just kinda give him a heads up. I would say, "Hey, like, my really good friend, her lease is ending," and let him know when it's ending or whatever, and she was hoping to move in. I think that's gonna be a better fit for me. I just wanted to give you the heads up now so that you could start planning for that. So if you have the date when your friend could move in, that to me would be the best way to do it, to, like, let him know that you're planning on having the friend move in. Could that still backfire? Yes, especially, like, if he's not a nice person. Like, he could kind of act up in the time between now and when your friend's gonna move in, but I do think being direct is good, and then maybe that would even open up the conversation, like, maybe he would say, "Oh, well, actually, I was gonna go ahead and move out at the end of next month," or maybe, like, he's gonna give you a timeline that would be earlier than you were hoping. Anyway, I definitely can sympathize with, having roommates that bug the heck out of you because this is the first time in my life where I really haven't had roommates. And somebody actually used to, like, live in my garage full time, and I hated that. They were, like, in and out of my kitchen. And the thing is, like, since I work a movie theater, I normally work nights, and most other people in the world work a day shift. So, since my house is so small, you can hear everything, and they were just, like, in and out, slamming the door, like, and yeah, in my apartments, even though, like, I do advocate for, for sharing your space, it's a great way to reduce your expenses. It can be really, really stressful, and you definitely need to find the right people. It's a really old video, but I did, like, a two-part series. I'll try and link it after this in the chat. But I talked with a landlord, when I was in the Graham Stephan mentorship, like, a lot of people there, they owned property and they were landlords, which is something that I've always been like, "Oh, maybe I'd wanna do that," but I don't feel like I would be good if I wound up with a squatter or something like that in my house. Um, but a lot of people make a lot of money that would help me on my journey towards becoming a millionaire if I owned some investment property. But anyway, this landlord, he and his wife was pregnant and everything, and he was still sharing his home with, I think, a couple other people. He was renting out all the bedrooms. He said that in the past, he rented out, like, the living room and things like that, and I lost my train of thought. I'm a little tired today, guys, but, he said things like he would put cameras in the common areas, and he said that he would make sure that everybody knew that. He said that that just kind of helped keep the integrity of the house, um, at a high level, just to know that, like, "Hey, common areas like the kitchen, the living room, those two main areas, the front entrance maybe would have cameras. It kind of helped keep people on the up and up. Obviously, you can't put cameras in the bedroom or in the bathroom or anything like that. That seemed kind of weird and invasive to me, but he said that that really, really worked. And he had like a lot of other really good tips for kind of screening somebody before you let them kind of into your space. Good morning, Bonnie. Alex says, and it's in August when her lease ends. So there's a ways to that date. Maybe I'm lucky he will move before August, but I'll have to cover the rent in full for a month, which also sucks. You could also just wait until just like June 30th or 31st, however many days there are in June, and wait until then. That's, it's like a month and a half, and at least there's kind of like an end in sight. So hopefully, like, that it's not going to be forever and that it's just temporary that they're there. Okay. Joshua DBO says, put it in contract, this arrangement from this date to this date, and why not ask how long you plan to stay? Yeah, that's also good advice. So the situation sounds like Alex already has somebody living there, may or may not have a contract. And Alex, I'm going to also say this, and I learned this from a coworker of mine who owned property. He said to always have some sort of contract, like even if it's a friend, because sometimes friends are almost even worse than strangers when you're renting, because like if you've maybe never lived with them before, you think they're going to be great, you think they're going to be a really good fit. Sometimes a friend can really take advantage of you almost more so than a stranger. And at least for me, when it's like a stranger, I don't have like any expectations. I don't feel like, oh, this, when it's a friend, you might think, oh, this person's going to be so much better. And then they could be dirtier, or they could like, I don't know why, but I used to get really mad when people would use like my olive oil and like my cooking supplies. And then I think I addressed that in my video with my friend too. He said to just like have some things that are common things, and then have some things that, like if it's like your leftovers that you kind of like that you might need to label, or that everybody just has their drawer, or everybody has like, like a little container with their cooking oil or whatever. I don't know why that would bother me so much. Like even back then, I don't know. Anyway, sometimes friends can really let you down. So have a contract in place even with your friend. Okay, I'm going to take another sip of coffee. I love this topic, especially because like being a landlord, that's something that I've thought about, and definitely like with times tight like they are right now, I do recommend, if you can, having an extra person share your space. Back when I was 20, I used to live in my friend's living room, and we like sectioned it off with curtains, and I was right next to the kitchen. So like if you can tolerate having like a lot of people in the house and sharing a bathroom potentially, it's really a great way to save money. I have another friend, he's in his 30s. He still lives with his mom, and he's like, Shelly, I really want to move out. Girls don't respect that I still live with my mom. I'm a grown adult. I would like my own apartment. He also wants to be closer to his job, but I was like, just live at home. His mom's getting older. I was like, your brothers want you to be at home with your mom. I was like, just tell these girls. I was like, get a girl with her own house. I was like, tell these girls that like you're saving for your financial future. Because at this point, with like the rent prices and everything in LA, it honestly just does not make financial sense to do that, to like have to move out. Like if he's got a good thing with his mom and he's gotten along with her for this long, and the only reason why he wants to move out is because he's concerned that a girl's not going to understand. Like a girl should understand like this economy. I don't know. Okay. Ben says, you live in a small house. You also rented to someone you disliked. Your solution was to pack his things and leave it outside. You changed the locks. He was your base player and he was doing drugs in your house. Okay, I understand. At first I read that and I was like, "What? You just packed up his stuff and left it outside?" But yeah. Um, I have another friend, she is really going through it, and I wish her the best. Back in, like, 2018, before I ever started the channel and used this exclusively as my office, I had 3 and my house is under 700 square feet, so it's a very tiny house, and 3 Swedish girls who came and stayed with me, and, like, 2 of them would sleep on the futon and 1 would sleep on the couch, and I didn't realize this when I agreed to let them stay with me, but, like, Swedish people go on vacation for a really long time. I thought they were gonna be here, like, 14 days max. I had 3 people, other girls with 1 bathroom in my house for, like, 21 days, I think it was, and then 1 stayed, in the US and pretty much lived with me for, like, a year. That's the one that's really going through it. Sounds like she's gotten into some drugs, and it sounds like even her own family has had to, like, lock her out. So, I definitely can understand that. Um, yeah, and it's tricky, because a lot of times then you're dealing with, like, someone potentially stealing your things to fund their habit, and, but that sucks too. It just I imagine he doesn't you say he was your bass player, so that sounds like he's not your bass player anymore. But yeah, you also have to like protect your personal space. And in a lot of ways, it's worse when when it's someone that that kind of does you dirty when you're in a roommate situation. So, and my apartment before this house was a 3 bedroom, and I had a lot of roommates. At one point, I think in all the bedrooms, it was all couples. So it was like me and the person I was dating, um, these 2 girls that were dating, and then it was like another couple that was dating. We had 6 people in a 3 bedroom. That's not that much people for a 3 bedroom, but the issue was we only had 1 bathroom, and that was that was not a good situation. It's not a good situation. But I will say that when I'm annoyed with roommates, so mom, maybe you should move in right away and then start annoying me right away. I am more likely to like go to the gym and exercise because like I just don't want to be home with these people or like go for like a long walk. Or I had another roommate. This is an absolutely true story, you guys. I had a roommate who would eat all my food. Like I would cook food, I would do meal prep, and I would come home and there was no food left. And I was like, what happened? And he would eat all my food. So I learned that if I cooked vegan food, he wouldn't eat it. He'd be like, "Oh, what are you making?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's this recipe from this vegan cookbook." And sometimes it would just be like lemony garlic potatoes. Like it was still like really good, delicious food, but he didn't want it at all if I said it was vegan. So it was a little house tip for your roommates that might be eating your food. Just tell them you're cooking something that you don't like or find out what they're allergic to. Be like, "Oh, I put a lot of garlic in it or a lot of onions or a lot of jalapenos or I put pineapples in it," or like something really weird that would make them not want to eat it. Okay, taking another sip of coffee. You guys, please like the video. All right, Joel says a lot of people will stay home into their 30s. You're Hispanic and half Filipino. And in both cultures, you can be a 35-year-old man and live with your parents. No privacy if you bring a date home, however. And so he's Hispanic. He's from Honduras. And I think that's the issue. I think he the thing is like his mom is actually really cool. Like she is like the mom. He was like going swimming at like a friend's house, and the mom was like, maybe I'll just build a pool in the backyard so that you guys can like come and swim here. Like she loves kind of having the family gatherings and hosting that and like organizing it. And she's really great. Like I feel like he could bring girls home to her, but I feel like he won't bring girls home to her unless it's going to be serious, and I think that might be part of the problem. But anyway, um yeah, like she wants him there. She's not trying to push him out of the house, but he just kind of feels weird about still living with his mom. I think he would like to bring a date home, and that's not really an option. But a lot of times like in LA, like the girls that he dates and stuff, they have good jobs, they have their own apartments, so, like, they could just go on dates at the girl's apartment. Like, to me, it's smarter for him to save money and continue living with his mom, especially because his mom's getting older and, like, seems like the mom needs more of his help. So it just seems like, to me, not worth it to move out. He has said, though, that, like, he doesn't really want the house if his mom were to, like, pass away. Um, but I don't know. I would, if especially though, if he knows that, I think he should, like, stay there and just save as much money so that when that time comes, like, he's saved up a lot of money and he can get his own house and things. Anyway, I don't know. Okay. Da, 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 da. What was I gonna look at? I'm gonna put back that this Justice for Renters Act. Okay, and what do we want to read? Let's read the Forbes article on it. This is from November of 2023. And this is going to be this is something that's going to be on our ballot this coming November. Okay. As goes California, so goes the country. I've never heard that. I thought that the thing was, how do I close this at? I thought that the saying was, as goes Ohio, so goes the rest of the country. Or is that just for voting? Okay. As goes California, so goes the country. This adage is particularly relevant when discussing the Justice for Renters initiative, which has qualified for the 2024 California ballot. And I believe, not me, this person who wrote this article, who is Anthony Luna, or are they talking? Anyway, and I believe could set a precedent for housing policy across the U.S. The act aims to remove the statewide rent control ban, thus allowing local governments the autonomy to stabilize rents. What could this mean for landlords and professionals in the broader real estate market? The history of rent control in California. Rent control in California has a storied and complex history that serves as a microcosm for the broader national debate on housing policy. The Costa-Hawkins Rental Housing Act of 1995 currently serves as the cornerstone of rent control policies in the state. This legislation was enacted to balance the interest of landlords and tenants by allowing property owners to set rental prices for new tenants while limiting the extent to which rents could be increased for existing tenants. Costa-Hawkins exempted single-family homes, condominiums, and any housing built after 1995 from rent control. That seems like it would be like the majority of the houses. So, like, I live in a single family home, and I also think that trailers have rent control as well. Before Costa-Hawkins, local jurisdictions had more freedom to enact rent control measures. While rent control can benefit tenants by preventing rents from rising too quickly, these measures have also been found to have unintended consequences, such as declines in the quality of existing rental units over time. The enactment of Hawkins, I keep saying Hawkins. I'm recently I'm not rewatching. I'm finally watching the final episodes, the final season of Stranger Things. So I think that's why I keep saying it wrong. Anyway, it was seen as a compromise to mitigate these issues. By allowing rents to reset to market rates when a tenant moved out, the act aimed to incentivize landlords to invest in their properties while still offering some protections to tenants against arbitrary rent hikes. However, the real estate landscape has changed since the mid 90s. Skyrocketing rents have reignited the debate over rent control. Some tenant advocacy groups suggest Costa-Hawkins has contributed to the housing affordability crisis by allowing landlords to charge exorbitant rents for new leases, thereby driving up the overall cost of housing. This sets the stage for the Justice for Renters initiative. All right, so we're getting into the meat of what this is. And I imagine as we get closer to the election in November, that we'll start talking about this a lot more. So it's good. Thanks, Kenneth, for letting me know that this was on the ballot so that I can start becoming familiar with it now. The Justice for Renters Initiative. The Justice for Renters Act proposes to eliminate, the California statewide ban on rent control, empowering local governments to enact laws that could stabilize rents and prevent them from skyrocketing year after year. Additionally, the act aims to tackle one of the root causes of homelessness, unaffordable housing, by making it more accessible. Proponents of the act believe it is a much needed reform to make neighborhoods more affordable for low and middle income renters. They believe that the act will put an end to high rents that have displaced tenants and led to increased homelessness. Various groups, including the AIDS Healthcare Foundation in Los Angeles, the California Nurses Association, and the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles, among others, have thrown their weight behind the initiative. The act has its critics as well. The California Apartment Association, for example, called it an attack on the Costa-Hawkins Act. Ah. I've also seen some share concerns that the act could discourage the construction of new housing units, incentivize landlords to remove existing ones from the rental market, and reduce the supply of available renter properties, thereby exacerbating California's housing shortage. The potential impact on real estate professionals. For landlords and property owners, the act could introduce new regulations, which some might feel make property management more complex. In turn, I can envision this deterring some individual investors and small scale property owners from entering the market or continuing to operate, which could impact housing stock and potentially lead to properties being acquired by large investment entities. From their perspective, this could alter the real estate landscape in California and set precedent for other states to follow, thereby affecting the national market. This is why I believe professionals in the real estate market should engage in productive and open conversations. Educate yourself and consult with experts in the field to understand the full scope of how a policy like this could potentially affect the real estate market in your area. When facing potential regulatory changes, real estate professionals can also consider using technology solutions that simplify compliance. Leveraging property technology software with regulatory tracking capabilities might be a game changer for some and help housing providers stay ahead of the curve. Landlords should also inform tenants of how potential policy changes could affect them. This approach not only builds trust, but also prepares both parties for any adjustments they might need to make. Staying informed, embracing technology to streamline operations, and maintaining open lines of communication will be key strategies for navigating the real estate landscape. Okay. Let me go back over to your comments and see what everybody's saying. Oh, Family Dollar. It's good that you popped in. Okay. Family Dollar's closed and you're officially jobless and bored out of your mind. Wish you luck with the job hunt. It might be weeks or, God forbid, months until I work again. I do wish you luck. If you have time, maybe. So I'm going to give you just I'm going to take this off the screen for now. Just some kind of general advice that I've heard throughout, our unemployment journeys. Number one, try and stick to a schedule. Like if you used to work 8-hour days, maybe you spend 2 hours a day. Like maybe you sign up for Skillshare or Udemy or something like that, where you can get a certificate in something new, something that's always interested you. Even on LinkedIn, even like with the free version of LinkedIn, you can take like little courses and get certifications um, that could potentially help you further your career. So maybe you set your alarm, maybe you go ahead and get dressed and put on your work clothes. And for the first 2 hours of the day, you do some coursework, you work towards some certifications. Then, then maybe go on a little lunch break, go for a walk, then come back, then start actually looking for jobs and applying to new places. um, that would probably be my recommendation. Kind of spend part of your day trying to acquire more skills, because I think you said you're a manager, so that's really great. But here's kind of something that I have personally run up against is managers, we wear so many different hats, right? So you're managing payroll, you're managing people, you're managing guests, you're stocking shelves, you're cleaning up spills, you're organizing things so that the merchandise moves off the shelves. So many things that you're doing. But a lot of times, something that when you're applying for new jobs ask for is like metrics, like I improved sales by 10%, or I improved employee retention by 15%. But those numbers are really hard to give and to get when you work at a store that ultimately like decides to close. So that can be a little bit tricky. Or if you work at a business where the business is declining, that can be a little bit tricky. But I wish you the very best. I know you're gonna find something awesome, and fingers crossed that you actually find something better and that you like more than the job that you previously had. You're not sure. Yes. Oh, yes. We talked about this. I missed you in last week's live so much. Yeah, we were talking a lot about the 99-cent store closures. And yes, I heard that the CEO of Pick and Save wants to save all the Southern California ones. So it won't be all of them, but yeah, the Southern California ones. So maybe there's hope for those workers, and pity it isn't nationwide. Yes to all of that. But one of the things that I mentioned on the last live, so he was saying, I think that if they took over, it would still be closed for about 60 to 90 days. So that still means that they're gonna have to lay all of those employees off. And I think Family Dollar, I think you said that you had worked, at your location for a really long time. So that most likely means that you've gotten a raise, that you're not making the same wage that you started at, and hopefully some of your employees there weren't either. So first, maybe some people won't wanna go back to the 99-cent store that were working there before. So they might need to find other work in that 60 to 90-day period. Um, which might mean that they won't go back. Then the 99-cent store, they don't have to rehire the same employees that left. A lot of times, especially when you're a manager, that they're asking you to cut in staff hours. So maybe they do want to rehire people, but maybe they won't bring back as many employees as they previously had. Maybe, and if they do bring everybody back, maybe it won't be at the rate that they were making. So while and I mean, it could be maybe they would offer everybody their job back at the same rate. It's just we don't, since the deal hasn't happened and gone through yet, we don't know how it will play out. What I do know is it would be great if the 99-cent stores were saved, not only for the employees, but also for the customers. Even my mom was telling me that's where she goes to get her coffee creamer. Um, my mom likes to go to like grocery outlet and stuff, but she says the expiration date on the coffee creamer there is like not as far out as like the expiration dates on the coffee creamer at the 99-cent store. So that's where she had been going to get her coffee creamer and stuff like that. Um, so I think it's good for the people who might live in food deserts. Like, it's good to have the 99-cent stores with the groceries available just for the communities. And in general, for the job market, any stores opening is going to be better than stores closing, right? Because yeah, we talked about it a lot last week, but I just really feel like California specifically, we're seeing a lot of businesses go like close and leave and just not reopen. That reminded me, I wanted to check out California's unemployment rate. Oops. Okay, it's the very first one there. Let's look at newsroom, I believe is where it's at. Unemployment. Huh? Okay. This, I'm not sure if this is the one I need. This is not the one I wanted. Sorry. So we'll go back. Okay, this is the icon that I usually use. So from February, that's the most recent data we have. So we don't have March's data. We don't have April's data. And I think the February data actually is referring back to the month of January. So I'm pretty sure that it lags. Yes. So, yes, Infinity, I found it. EDD says the employment rate in the state maybe it will increase as we enter the summer months. Yes. So, I'm on the EDD website right now, and in the last year, it's gone up almost an entire percentage, which on the surface doesn't seem like a lot, but we have a lot of people in California. So, like, for that to be like 5.3%, that's a lot. That's really high. Okay, it's not near like the 20% or whatever it was when we were at the height of the pandemic, but it's still, this is not, that's not the direction that I want to see the unemployment rate going. And again, even though this says February, I believe that that is like it's lagging by about a month. So it's reported in February, but I believe it's actually the data from earlier. Let me see if I can read that. Revised downward, month over month. Okay, it does say it's in February. Why do I think that this was lagging data? Anyway, the fact that it's even if it was for February, a lot of the closures that we're hearing about took place in March and April, and or like the 99-cent stores, I know they're liquidating. I'm not sure if they're actually closed. Like I'm not sure if they've had actually their last days yet. So all the Family Dollar and the Dollar Trees, and those have started to close, the 1,000 that they're doing of those. The 99-cent stores are going to close. Then we've had some restaurant closures that they're saying is due to the minimum wage increase. I'm seeing a lot of tech layoffs. You guys know that I was talking about, let me see if I can look up the Wells Fargo branch closing. Oops, oh my goodness. Closings in California. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Nope, that's 2023. All right, I've never heard of franknez.com, but we'll look at this. And this is from October 3rd of 2023. So unexpected Wells Fargo. Oh no, this is too many pop-ups. Come on now. Okay. Unexpected Wells Fargo branches in California are now closing for 2024, according to fresh data from the Office of the Controller of the Currency, the OCC. The current Office of the Controller of the Currency, the OCC bulletin, has been published, and several national Wells Fargo bank branches are included therein as permanently closing next year, including 3 major branches in the state of California. Bank branches in California, but especially Wells Fargo, have been shuttering all year. Below are 7 that have permanently closed in California this year. So we've got on Sunset Drive in San Ramon, in Hemet, in San Bernardino, Santa Barbara, Redwood City, Stockton, Bermuda Dunes. 2 more closed in November. Why do I feel like that one's close to me? There's one on Washington Boulevard that's closing, one in Fresno that's closing. And then here's all the ones that are supposed to close in 2024. One in Oxnard, one in San Pablo, one in Granada Hills. But there's another one that's closing that I don't even see on that list. So because the one by my mom's house was not on there, but it's definitely one that's closing. So we've got bank branches closing. Um, we've got restaurants closing due to the increased minimum wage for fast food workers. We've got the 99-cent stores going out of business. We've got the Family Dollars going out of business. So and a lot of that is still getting finalized. I think the bank branch by my mom's that was closing, I wanna say that that's closing in April. So but yet there was a jobs report that just came out, and the jobs report was stronger than they were expecting. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. And the other thing, and I mentioned this, and not to scare anybody, especially not to scare you, Family Dollar. Also, Family Dollar, how many people were working at your store, like, prior to the announcements that it was closing? Because I was trying to estimate how many jobs were gonna be lost. Um, and I was, like, trying to figure out what the average number of employees each 99-cent store probably had, and I was guessing maybe about 12 employees per store. So I was wondering if you would be able, like, if you know how many employees your store had and if that was common for the stores, so that I could try and do the math on how many jobs we're losing by the 99-cent stores and Family Dollars closing. Okay. Ben says, "It sucks for the workers at the bank, but you've done all your bills online, literally everything online. I never walk into a branch anymore and only use ATM machine." Number 1, I'm gonna tease you. I do this all the time too, but my friend goes, "Shelly, you don't have to say ATM machine. That's what the M stands for." So I just think it's cute because you typed that too. But he makes fun of me because, like, I say ATM machine also. But he was like, "It's just the ATM because the M stands for machine." Okay, so yeah, I haven't gone in, well, that's not true. I actually had to wire money to my friend, which I think finally went through, but I actually had to go into the bank branch, like, several times to try and get that sorted out, but ultimately sorted it out online by myself. Even my mom now, like, if she gets a check or something, and first of all, it's rare when we get checks, but, like, you guys best believe that I fill out those, like, settlements and I cash those checks that are, like, for $2 or whatever. But you just all you have to do is, like, scan it and do mobile deposit, and even my mom does mobile deposit now, and my mom pretty much only goes through the drive-through. Even honestly, like, back when my grandma was alive, we used to go through the Bank of America drive-through then too, and yeah, everything is more online now. You Venmo your friends, you can do that with their rent money, you can Zelle the money. Yotta Bank, which I do still like and I do still use. I use Wells Fargo as well because that's who has my mortgage. So it's just easy to have an account there where my mortgage just gets crossed over. But Um, but what? Where's my train of thought? Oh, but Yotta Bank doesn't even have any branches. So that's kind of the business model, is like having it all done online. Okay. Family Dollar says we were a small store, so like 20 people, from shift managers, cashiers on different days. As the main manager, keeping in contact with older employees, maybe I can hire them in a new future job. Yeah, and that's a great idea. And I don't know. Um, I think you guys kind of know this. So a lot of companies have a non-fraternization policy, which means you're not supposed to hang out with your employees. And that makes sense, because you could get accused of, or you could actually accidentally show that those people that you're friends with, you could give them like special treatment. Like maybe you schedule them all off on a Saturday and you don't the people that you're not as friendly with. So you don't want to get in a situation like that. Same for me. But so I'm never friends with my employees when they're working with me. But usually, like, I often also work with a lot of like younger people, and I like to follow their careers and see how they've developed throughout the years. So a lot of times after they leave, if they ever send me like a friend request on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, I'll almost always accept that request. And then it's nice to see like where they've gone in their lives. But yeah, a lot of times, like a lot of the people that I've kept in contact with, um, you always want to have a good network. You always want to have, people in your circle, both that you're looking out for, that you would take with you, that worked really well with you, that are your key players. Um, and then, hopefully they'll be looking out for you as well. So, yeah, definitely keep in touch with them, or maybe they'll be the ones hiring you. You just never know where life is going to take you. So just be kind to people, get their information, not necessarily when you're working with them, but yeah, I love that you're keeping in touch with them. So 20 employees. Okay, so that's actually more than I was thinking. So I think as we end this, I'm going to do my little whiteboard. So it was 367 uh 99-cent stores that were closing, and I estimated maybe they each had 12 employees. So at 20, okay, let's just do it like this. We're gonna do times 10, because times 10 would be 3,670, and then but times 20, so that would be another 3,670. 0, 14, 12, that's 13. So that would be 7,340 jobs that we just lost if the 99-cent stores all had 20 employees. And not all 367 stores are in California. Like they have them in Texas and Arizona and Nevada, I believe. So those aren't all jobs lost in California, but that's more jobs than I estimated last week. I estimated maybe that each store had 12 employees. So 20, it's a lot of jobs lost. And what's tricky, P.S. Like if you manage a Family Dollar, you could manage a movie theater. You could manage I feel like you could manage almost anything. You could manage a grocery store. You could manage a Victoria's Secret. You could manage maybe a Target. That'd be like 10 Family Dollars all in one. More stock, more inventory, more employees. But like maybe a Target, maybe like an IKEA, maybe a CVS. I think CVS actually pays their managers pretty decently. So definitely at the management level, hopefully you can jump right into another management role. But what is concerning to me, because I was also going to say like maybe you could be a bank branch manager, right? But like, and I had said this specifically in regards to you. If it were me that worked at Family Dollar, I would immediately be like, oh, let me see if they're hiring at the 99-cent store. But you can't do that because they just closed all the 99-cent stores too. So that's that's unfortunate, right? That you can't go to a very similar type store. Maybe try Dollar General, that kind of thing. Um, Big Lots, actually, by where my mom is, the one that I used to go to every Sunday with my grandma, that recently closed. Uh, I was also recently thinking, I need some work shoes and I don't want to spend a lot of money on them. I don't always love the Walmart shoes. I miss Payless, but I miss going to the Payless store. So Payless stores, we've lost all of those. We've lost the Family Dollars. We've lost the 99-cent stores. We're losing bank branches. We're losing some fast food places. So I am concerned for those of us kind of in the retail sector about the availability of jobs. Also, Family Dollar. I can't remember if if you have a YouTube channel yourself, maybe go all into that. Maybe go live and share your job hunt with the public. Maybe really look into trying to make a side hustle, a main job, because they do say that as long as you work for an employer, there's going to be a maximum number of hours that you can work and there's going to be a cap on how much you can earn. Whereas if you're your own boss, you're kind of in charge of that. All right. Well, I do wish you the best of luck on your job hunt. I know you're going to find something amazing. I'm curious about your journey. I like, you know, I hope you'll pop in and tell me, if you're going to start looking for work right away. It's also definitely okay to kind of take some time to like I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to say to get right in the head kind of. Um it's traumatic when you've worked somewhere for a really long time and they close. I'm sure that they really value you staying until the end. I hope that just like you're in contact with some of your older employees, I hope that you got the contact information of your bosses. And if you did, go find them on LinkedIn right now. Get active on LinkedIn. But also, it's okay to take some time to heal. I'm not saying like I don't think anybody on this channel thinks that I'm saying, "Oh yeah, just sit back and like take advantage." But like do take some time to like grieve the loss of an employer where you had been for a long time. Like I think that that's kind of like, you know, what the unemployment is for you to kind of have like a reset um while you figure out like the next steps for you. So I just wish you the best. I'm curious though. I'm nosy, so I'm curious if you do start looking right away, how long it takes you from the time you start applying until the time you find something else. I'm curious, do you think you will try a course or to like earn some certifications and to kind of go a different direction? Or do you think you'll go into a form of management? I'm curious, like your top 10 places that you're thinking about applying. I'm curious about your journey and how it plays out in this economy. And of course, I'm rooting for you to just have like the best possible outcome. But also, if I'm curious and I'm nosy about how that journey goes, definitely maybe if you feel like it, document it on YouTube because I'm sure more people would be curious about it as well. And I'm sorry for the loss of your old job, but I'm hoping wholeheartedly that this creates a lot of opportunities for you going forward. All right, guys, that seems like a good place to end today's video. We go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m., largely talking about whatever you guys want to talk about in the comments. I love hearing about what's going on in your lives and being a part of it. Alex, I hope you get your roommate situation sorted out. Thanks, guys, so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next time.